What is up, everyone? I think today I'm going to focus on what's going on here in the NightLazer shop, which is my laser engraving business's shop. Currently, we're kind of under the gun. It's a mad dash right now for the next week, trying to get a bunch of stuff ready for the trip down to Ocean City, Maryland for the unofficial H2O meet. The H2O show, which is a Volkswagen and Audi show, has been held in Ocean City, Maryland at the end of September for years now. And this is the first year the show isn't in Ocean City, even though the show didn't happen last year. A lot of us still go down to Ocean City to just hang out with friends, cruise the strip, eat seafood, and be merry for the most part. So I know there's a divided opinion about who's going to Atlantic City for the actual show and who's going to Ocean City. I really couldn't care less about getting involved in the politics of it. I've got friends coming from Europe, Russia, a whole bunch of people that come over and go to Ocean City just to hang out. So that's what we're going to do. It's a fun time. I look forward to it every year. So each year in Ocean City, I hold a car meet with my automotive brand, the Governor's Club. And for that meet each year, I usually make a specific keyring for the year that we're holding the meet. 2016 was a wooden keyring. Last year was a brown leather keyring. And this year, to continue with, I guess, the tradition, I'm making some double-sided black leather keyrings. These are laser engraved, laser cut from genuine USA leather. I don't know if this is focusing well. It looks like it. The Governor's Club logo and my NightLazer logo on one side, and Long Live the Strip and the Ocean City logo on the other. A little 2018 engraved at the top there. So I'm making 150, possibly 200 of these in time for the show. Usually I do 100, and they're gone by Thursday. When we get down there on Wednesday, by Thursday they're gone. So I grossly underestimate the amount of people that want these keyrings, and it turns into that I don't have any left by the time we do the meet, which is usually Saturday or sometimes even Sunday. Weather depending, and what the area looks like for favorable locations to do a car meet. So, gonna make at least 150. I've got them all cut, most of them washed, most of them dried. I've got to buff them all, and then I hand assemble them all. So they're a handmade, curated product right here by me. This may not be live before H2O. I think I want it to be. So if you guys are seeing this and September 26th hasn't come around yet, they're going to be $15 a piece, basically first come, first serve, as soon as we get down into Ocean City, hopefully next Wednesday. But since a lot of people miss out on them or don't get a chance to go or even out of the country, I'm going to do a second batch when I get home and put them on the Governor's Club web store so people can order them from anywhere, whether or not you were in town and they were sold out or you didn't get a chance to make it. So that's on the list. So I've got to run some errands, have to get more glue for the key rings. And I think it was raining this morning, but looks pretty good now. So I think we might take the E23 for a drive, my 735. So this is a 1981 E23 Mark 1 735i. It's a UK spec car. It's right-hand drive. And aside from that, being a Euro spec car is awesome too, because it's got the Euro bumpers, the Euro lights, Euro trim, all the stuff that we didn't have here in America. I'll talk to you guys a little bit more about the car while we're on our way, if I can sort out the camera. When I first bagged this car, my friend Mo Collins and I actually modified this 1990s car phone to operate the air suspension. And we kept the factory leader on it, all the factory buttons, and we even illuminated it red to match the red cabin illumination in the car. So this was kind of something I've wanted to do in a car for a long time. I always wanted to bag like an S-Class Mercedes, an A8, or a 7 Series BMW and use a period correct car phone as the air ride controller. So like two 5, 8, all those are just dummies now. But 1, if you can hear that, 1, 7, 3, and 9. This was front up and down, and this was rear up and down. And so we built a new little circuit board inside the phone with little diodes, and yeah, it was a really cool project. So now I'm running the Airlift 3H system with the height sensors. So I laser engraved this little centerpiece out of 2-color acrylic. So the suspension management and the NightLazer logo are actually engraved into the plastic. So it's a plastic that has a white core and a black surface. And so then I made like a structural part behind it, and these 4 mounts are the original 4 mounts for the ashtray. So I didn't modify the dash at all whatsoever in this car. It's just how the ashtray normally mounts. So I really enjoy having the height sensors. Unfortunately, it had to do away with the car phone being the controller for the air suspension. But we have plans to integrate Bluetooth into it, and not only be able to answer phone calls from it that come to my cell phone, but we're talking about putting caller ID in it as well, which I think is just awesome. So I'll pay all the tickets I need to pay if I'm on the phone on that thing while I'm driving. So I found this car on Craigslist, listed in Vermont. I'm from New Hampshire. At a time that I really shouldn't have bought a car or been trying to buy another car. But it was a December night, and when you live in a small town in New Hampshire, it gets a little boring. So I was killing the time just kind of browsing Craigslist, and I found myself at the bottom of the barrel on one of the searches where I'm down into like the nearby area places, which is definitely an area I shouldn't have been in, and saw this car listed on Craigslist. I'll impose some of the photos in the video because I've saved the Craigslist ad photos. It was in rough shape. It was behind a barn out in the middle of the woods in Vermont. Immediately didn't look like anything I wanted. While scrolling through the rest of the photos, I realized it was a manual car, and not only being a manual, it was right-hand drive too. So I thought it was pretty cool that it was a UK spec car in the middle of the woods in Vermont. So it turns out the Consul General of Turkey ordered this car brand new in 1981 at Southampton BMW in England. And he worked at the embassy in London for the Turkish embassy, and he ordered the car fully optioned. It's got the headlight wiper washer system, it's got AC and the sunroof, leather interior, the C-pillar study lights, basically all the options that were available at the time, but in a 5-speed manual, which I think is really cool because most of the manual E23s you see are base model E23s with no frills, and they've got cloth interior. And so he owned the car and garaged it and took really good care of the car while it lived in England, so it didn't rot out and didn't sit out in the elements or anything like that. He was from Montreal originally, so when he retired from his diplomatic duties, he retired to his home in Montreal, and having owned the E23 since new, he shipped it to Montreal. So that's how it got to North America. A few years later, in his retirement, I guess his family got their citizenship and moved down into the States, down into Vermont. At which point, they met a local guy who's the guy I bought the car off of. So I'm here at my parents' house now. They live right up the street from me. This is a perfect little spot to park the car and kind of do a quick walk around. So this is the non-fog light BBS front splitter. Even these non-fog light ones have cutout templates in the back of them for your factory fog lights. So a lot of them ended up getting cut out for the fog lights. So it's definitely pretty rare to find one without the fog light holes cut out of them. So I feel very lucky to have found that one. And then these are the Ronal Type 2 HG Schnitzers. They're not perfect, but they look a whole lot better than they did when I found them. So they have the original titanium hardware. So these were the Ronal made ones. OZ ended up making them after Ronal, I believe. There'll probably be some wheel gurus out there that'll know more than me, but from what I know, Ronal and OZ Racing made the HG Schnitzer wheels. So these are the Ronals, or Ronals. But again, a dream wheel of mine, so I feel very fortunate to have them on the car. I just think 5-spokes look good on anything. I've got 5-spoke Epsilons on my Corvair, and I don't know, they're just a timeless look. They look good on almost any generation car, any vintage car. The car is filthy right now, but this is the BBS rear spoiler. I don't know if you'll be able to see the markings or not. There they are. And the Racing Dynamic side skirts. I know some people don't like the skirts. I personally love them because the BBS front splitter hangs lower than the factory rockers, and so having the side skirts just helps fill out the bottom of the car very, very well. They're basically the same height, so especially when the car is aired out, it just kind of finishes the look. It doesn't look incomplete, which I felt it did before the side skirts were on it. What do you think, Brindy? Huh? What do you think? Huh? You all set? You all set? Huh? You all set? So I know I said this vlog was going to basically be talking about NightLazer and my shop and everything leading up to Ocean City, but it inadvertently turned into talking about my E23. But I guess it's okay. Here's been a quick little vlog about my right-hand drive E23.